Hey Canucks fans, did you know that Bo Horvat's career arc is remarkably similar to Ryan O'Reilly's? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, August the 19th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. It is game day. It is game 5. It's pivotal. You could argue it's a must win. All these cliches, but I can't wait for tonight's game. Remember, the Canucks are now locked into a best-of-3 series with the defending Stanley Cup champions. I want a couple quick programming notes. After the game tonight, don't forget to join me for my live stream on YouTube. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Canucks win. And I want to thank once again Chris Faber and David Quadrelli of Canucks Conversation, the wonderful podcast that's making waves in Vancouver. Thanks for having me on, not just as a guest, but as a guest co-host. It's kind of weird to see a tweet saying co-host Clay Emo with guest David Quadrelli. Obviously, it's usually the other way around. So I was happy to jump on to the podcast for almost an hour with Chris Faber and fill in for Quads while he's on a well-deserved vacation. So make sure you check that out if you haven't listened to that episode, that most recent episode of Canucks Conversation just yet. Okay, Canucks fans, I got something special for you today. I actually did a bit of research for this one, and I'm actually reading some stats, full disclosure, because there's no way I can memorize all these numbers. But I want to talk about how Bo Horvat's career arc is very similar to Ryan O'Reilly's. Before we get to that, just 30-second quick preview for tonight. Let's see if Adam Gaudette gets in the lineup. If he does, is it at the expense of Louis Eriksson? Is it at the expense of Jake Virtanen or Zach McEwen? But I do think the Canucks should try something up front, something new up there. And then on the back end, unless Tyler Myers makes a miraculous recovery, I still think it's going to be the same 6 defensemen and, of course, the same goaltender in Jacob Markstrom. So we'll see about that. We'll know once the line rushes are tweeted out at 7 o'clock by Brendan Batchelor, by Thomas Drance, by Patrick Johnson, anyone else that wants to tweet out the line combos. Okay, I want to talk about Bo Horvat and Ryan O'Reilly. And we know that Ryan O'Reilly has been the biggest difference maker for the St. Louis Blues for sure. Very noticeable anytime he's on the ice with his line mates, David Perron, that goof, and Jaden Schwartz, not so much a goof, but still a goof. Well, they're just goofs because they play for the opposition. And they've been goofing the Canucks around for the past couple games. They've been so dominant. You rarely remember the St. Louis Blues guys getting hemmed in their own zone, and they're winning every board battle. And Ryan O'Reilly is the leader of that, as a leader of the team, as someone who's very strong offensively. Defensively, after all, he won the Selke last year. He won the Conn Smythe last season. And yeah, we know he's a complete player. His leadership, his offense, his defense, his hands, his battle level, his compete, his board battles, his hockey IQ, his passing, his vision, all these wonderful things. And I think everyone would love to have a guy like Ryan O'Reilly on their team. Now, I looked up Ryan O'Reilly's stats and his career arc, and I looked up Bo Horvat's stats and his career arc because a lot of people, including myself, have talked about how it would be awesome if Bo Horvat turns into a player like Ryan O'Reilly. And I don't think, especially after doing this research, I don't think that that's too much of a stretch, actually. So let's get into the numbers and then we can talk about it. And obviously from a qualitative standpoint, not a quantitative standpoint, from a qualitative standpoint, we would love Horvat to continue to develop in his own career to be a player as effective as Ryan O'Reilly is right now. And I say is right now because we got to remember O'Reilly has played now 11 seasons in the NHL, whereas Bo Horvat is only entering his 6th season. Or is finishing his 6th season, I should say. So there's 5 years more experience from Ryan O'Reilly. And so I'm going to try and use comparable 6-year numbers as opposed to career numbers when applicable. So we know Ryan O'Reilly is 29 years old. He's born in 1991. He was drafted in 2009 by the Colorado Avalanche. Get this, 3rd overall pick of the 2nd round. So not a 3rd overall pick overall. He was the 3rd overall pick in the 2nd round. So he was actually the 33rd pick in the 2009 draft. And one difference is he started playing that fall. So 2009, 2010, he started playing for the Colorado Avalanche and did 6 seasons there before he did 3 in Buffalo, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, and the last 2 seasons in St. Louis, 18, 19, 19, 20. So there's your 11 years for Ryan O'Reilly. 6 with Colorado, 3 with Buffalo, and then 2 with St. Louis. And it's kind of nice that the 6 that were with Colorado, they're all with Colorado, so we can kind of use a comparable of his 6 years in Colorado versus Bo Horvat's 6 years with Vancouver. Bo Horvat, 4 years younger, born in 1995, drafted in 2013. We know 9th overall in the first round. The Canucks used their pick acquired from the Corey Schneider trade to pick Bo Horvat. And Horvat, unlike O'Reilly, took another year in junior. So Horvat didn't start playing until 2014-2015, a year after he got drafted. So he's had 6 seasons, 14-15 all the way to 19-20 with the Vancouver Canucks. So that's what we're talking about. 6 years for Ryan O'Reilly in Colorado, 6 years for Horvat in Vancouver. They're of similar size and stature. They list O'Reilly as 6'1", 216, and they list Bo Horvat as 6 feet, 215. So 1 inch in difference in height, supposedly, and then 1 pound of weight difference, although that can fluctuate depending on what you have for your pregame meal. So we're talking about similar players in stature and in size, which is similar to stature, and obviously positionally, they are both centers. Ryan O'Reilly, top center. Actually, Ryan O'Reilly and Schenn can be, flip-flop as the top 2 centers in St. Louis, and of course Horvat entrenches as number 2 center in Vancouver behind Elias Pettersson, of course. So that's their draft history. That's their size of their body, and then their first 6 years. Colorado for Ryan O'Reilly, Vancouver for Bo Horvat. Then when you get in the numbers, this is where it gets really interesting. Ryan O'Reilly's first 6 seasons points: 26, 26, 55, 20, 64, and 55. So 26, 26, and then 4 straight seasons of 55 or more, because that 4th season, which is only 20, that was only 29 games, so already injured in an already shortened 48-game season. So that extrapolates to 57 points. So let's use 57. So 26, 26, 55, 57, 64, and 55. 2 seasons of 30 or fewer, 30 or less points, then 4 seasons of 55 or more. Bo Horvat, 25 points, 40 points, 52, 44, 61, and 53. So his low point was only 25 in his rookie season. Ryan O'Reilly's rookie season was 26 points. Then Horvat's actually next lowest was only 40 points, whereas Ryan O'Reilly had another 26-point season. So Horvat has 25 and a 40 in there, and he has 3 50-plus seasons, a 52, a 53, and a 61. Now remember, the 53 is this season, so that would be extrapolated to about 60 points as well. So you can see that those numbers are very similar to Ryan O'Reilly's. In fact, Ryan O'Reilly, over his first 6 seasons, his points per game was 0.58 points per game. Bo Horvat, first 6 seasons, 0.62 points per game. So very similar, a difference of only 0.04 points per game. Times that by 400 games each, that's only a difference of about 16 points total. When you look at equal number of games. So 0.58 points per game for Ryan O'Reilly for 6 years, 0.62 points per game for Bo Horvat for 6 years. Very, very similar. Then, of course, O'Reilly has had some really good seasons since then: 60, 55, 61, 77, and 61. So actually only one plus 61-point season after that. He had a 77, but everything else is being, 60 or 61 points. So now he's bumped that 0.58 points per game up to 0.7. So in his career, 0.70, over the first 6 years, 0.58. Horvat, first 6 years, and his entire career, 0.62. So very similar. Check out the faceoff stats. Ryan O'Reilly, over his career, awesome faceoff guy, 55.5%. Horvat in his career, also very strong, 53.1. So O'Reilly has a 2.5% advantage there. But remember, Horvat will get better, hopefully, as the years go on. And we know that Horvat was one of the top 3 face-off guys in the league last year, or 2 years ago. I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it was last year. And one of the other top 3 guys was, of course, Ryan O'Reilly. So 55.5 face-off win percent for O'Reilly in his career, 53.1 for Horvat. Then you look at the playoffs, and this is where it gets really interesting. They both made the playoffs in their first season, in their rookie season, and then they both made the playoffs one more time in the first 6 years. For O'Reilly, it was in his 5th season with Colorado, and after they went through that crazy rebuild in 2013, 2014. And then for Bo Horvat and Canucks, it was in Horvat's 6th season, i.e. right now. And when you look at the points per game in the playoffs, it gets even trickier. It gets even more fascinating. O'Reilly, in his points per game in the playoffs, is 0.85, 39 points in 46 games. Bo Horvat's points per game in the playoffs, 0.86, 12 points in 14 games. Obviously a lot fewer games than O'Reilly. So 0.85 for O'Reilly in the playoffs in his career, 0.86 points per game for Horvat in his career, again only over 2 playoff series. If you take O'Reilly's first 2 playoff series, the 2 with Colorado in their first 6 years, a 0.54 points per game. So a lot lower. You can obviously see, especially with it last year, going 23 points in 26 games. And of course, this year already having 9 and 7, O'Reilly is jacked his points per game all the way up. So when you look at the first 6 years only, the first 2 playoff performances, Horvat actually outperformed O'Reilly points per game. But now when you take his entire career, they're basically equal. 0.85 for Ryan O'Reilly, 0.86 for Bo Horvat. So all this that I say, they're similar in size and stature. They play the same position. They both had 2 playoff experiences in their first 6 years. They both stayed with the same franchise that drafted them for the first 6 years. They both made the playoffs in their rookie season. They both are on the good side of faceoff percentages. They have remarkably similar points per game through the first 6 years in the regular season. They have basically identical points per game over their entire careers. You can see where Bo Horvat is on a very good career arc stats-wise compared to Ryan O'Reilly. Now, will Horvat be the same leader that O'Reilly is? I'd say, yeah, he's on his way. He might almost already be there right now. We know that every single member of the Canucks organization and his teammates, most importantly, and coaching staff, really respect Bo, and that's why they deemed him to be a worthy captain after Henrik Sedin. I would say that Horvat has the offensive ability that Ryan O'Reilly does. I think the one difference right now is Horvat might not have the same defensive tenaciousness that O'Reilly has right now. But remember, O'Reilly has played 5 more seasons. He's in his 11th season, and Horvat's only in his 6th season. So as Horvat continues to get more playoff tested, as he continues to play against the top centers across the entire NHL, you know that he's going to improve defensively. He's going to improve in his battle level, especially among the boards. He's still going to get stronger and smarter in the way he uses his stick, his skating, his body positioning. So all to say, all these stats, all the eye test, it leads me to say that I think Bo Horvat can be a very comparable player to Ryan O'Reilly down the road. He's not there yet, but he's well on his way, and that is great news for Canucks fans. Although I don't know how much it says about what's going to happen in tonight's game, quite frankly. So Canucks fans, I know I went for a long time there, but I want to lay out all those stats. I think it's quite fascinating when you look at it. Like I said, in particular, points per game over their first 6 regular seasons, points per game overall in career playoffs, and then a very similar face-off percentage throughout the career, and of course similar size and similar position. So these 5 kind of comparables that are very, very, very similar, and that bodes well for Vancouver Canucks fans. Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Do you think that Bo Horvat can be as good as Ryan O'Reilly down the road? Do you think he's already there? Do you think he will be even better? Or do you think he will never actually get there? I would love your feedback on this particular topic. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you like about this comparison, what you don't like about this comparison. I would love your feedback on this topic for sure. Don't forget to join me after the game for my post-game YouTube live stream. Hopefully we're talking about a Canucks win. And as always, subscribe if you like to, like this video if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.